Good morning, everyone. As my friend Claudia, who is not on Facebook, and so she does not even see these, says, today is going to be a great day. Actually, she says, today's going to be a great day. And I totally took that on because I love that too. I think every morning when we start our day by thinking, today is going to be a great day, and here's why, and we remind ourselves of all the amazing things that we have going on in our life, then it is an amazing day. So today we are going to be continuing this series. I have my notes here in front of me on the topic of tapping into your inner badass. And today what I want to focus on and talk about is asking for what you need. And so for a lot of us, especially women, it's challenging to ask for what we need. And that is in respect to giving ourselves permission to really decide that we need certain things and we don't have to do it all on our own. And then also asking from support from our family and friends, and really just getting clear about like who we need to help us in order to get the results that we want to create for our lives. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And I really believe that this is one of the most important topics when it comes to tapping into your inner badass, because I think a lot of times we believe that we should be able to go it alone. You know, I've said this before, that human beings were not meant to live on an island all by ourselves. And a friend of mine told me that a while back when I was trying to do everything by myself. And, you know, it was such a reality check for me in the sense that, like, I know this, and yet I think at certain times in my life, because I was trying to control, or because I was trying to measure up, or because I was trying to people please, I tried to do everything and in effect failed, because what ended up happening wasn't necessarily that I failed in achieving the results, but I failed in achieving my dream life because I ended up being this like depleted, empty shell of a woman. And so like that's not where we're trying to go, right? Like, who cares if you get the results that you're looking for on paper if when you get there you're empty and you have nothing left and you're not actually enjoying your life? And I think that's what happens for most people. We go and we chase a certain specific result that we want to achieve, that we think is going to allow us to be happy, and then we get there and we realize we're not happy. And I can, give you tons of examples from everything from weight loss and chasing a certain number on the scale, or with money, making a certain dollar amount or achieving a certain level in your career. And so there are just all of these different things that I think we sort of create as this race, that we think that when we cross this finish line and we're like, oh my God, once I get there, then I will feel X. We think that we're going to feel that way that we want to feel, when in reality, once we can continue to chase these like carrots out there in front of us, and we'll never feel the way that we want to feel until we start really choosing to feel that way now, and giving ourselves permission to receive the support and to plug in the different things that are going to allow us to feel that way on a regular basis right now, on our way to whatever success goals we set for ourselves. And Abraham Hicks says, happy with what is, eager for more. And I think that's so true, is that as human beings, I believe, there's lots of different opinions on this, but I believe that as a human being, we will always want more. And that's okay. Sometimes people will say like, oh, well, you shouldn't, put your happiness in things, and you shouldn't put your happiness in achievement. But I really believe that like wanting things and wanting more and having striving, or having interest in like taking it to the next level is what makes us want to be alive. That's what those challenges that we show ourselves that we can achieve or break through, or get to the next level, or when we say like, I wonder if I could do this, or I wonder if I could do that, like that's what life is all about, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, that experiencing this and experiencing that. And so when we have that sort of perspective, and we know that like there's never going to be this point in the future where I reach where everything is perfect, or I'm like, okay, done, I've achieved everything. I mean, pretty much the only time we're ever going to experience that is when we die. And I know that's kind of morbid to say, but the point is that life is about setting goals and then being excited about achieving them, not about trying to keep up and push ourselves harder just to get through the day and continue to be sleep deprived and work really hard just to never have a break and take care of everyone else above our own needs. Like, that's not what life is about. We challenge ourselves because it's fun, not because we have to in order to just be status quo and like continue on living. Like, do you see the difference? If you guys are on live, tell me if you see the difference between these two ways of living. Living from a mindset of challenging and having fun. Is that Heather? Good. Okay, so when we have these two different things, these two different perspectives, like if you have right now, you're in this perspective where you're like, I'm just trying to keep up and don't sleep very much, I'm not taking good care of myself, I'm putting everyone else's needs in front of my own, I literally just have to get up, get through the day, go to bed and do it all over again. Like, if you're there right now, I want to encourage you to have an open mind about what I'm going to share today, because this is what's going to change your life for the better. And here's where I go into like feisty Sheila coaching mode, because I want to push you with love and with a knowing that when you break through this limited mindset of like, there's only so many hours in the day and I have to do these things and I'm, just trying to get by and I don't have enough money and I have all these stories like we talked about yesterday, when you give yourself permission to break through that and to see opportunities and maybe try something different, your whole world will change. But only when you decide that you're willing to do that. So have an open mind about what I'm talking about today, okay? Because if you want freedom, if you want more fun, if you want more love, if you want more ease, like that's my favorite word, ease. Ease is something that I think we all truly want. Ease, fun, freedom, joy, peace, all of these emotions are things that we want, but a lot of times we tell ourselves like, yeah, that'd be nice, but it's not possible for me right now. And here's where today we're going to talk about this, and all throughout this series is what I'm talking about is how you can start bringing more of these things into your life right now so you can be that badass that's inside there right now. Like, you were not born to just get through the day. This is not what life is about. It's just, I truly 1000% believe that life is about the journey of becoming more and expanding and really showing yourself what's possible for you. But a lot of us don't do that. We just miss the boat on that. And so here's where today I want to help wake you up to that. Today, our topic is about asking for help with what you need. And so, I already kind of talked about permission. I talked about feeling like we have to do it all ourselves. I talked about people pleasing and sort of nurturing everyone else but never nurturing ourselves. And as women, men too though, like men do this too. Like, men are providers, men want to help, and a lot of times we think that by taking care of everyone else, and from a woman's perspective it's more of like nurturing and caring and really sort of like feathering their nest, and for men it's like, how can I provide, how can I help you? In either case, when we're constantly doing that, it's like we're sort of taught as a society, like give, but it's selfish to give to ourselves. And that's like the most backwards thing ever, because when your cup is empty, then you have nothing to give. So if you see yourself as this vessel to inspire and to help and to serve and to support others, then of course it makes sense that you have to prioritize and take responsibility for filling your cup and doing the things that you need to do to feel fully alive. Whatever topic we're talking about, when it comes to self-care in the sense of like investing time and taking good care of yourself and getting enough sleep, or making sure that you're getting food that's going to give you the nutrients that you need to thrive, or the workouts that are going to help you feel alive and move in your body and feel connected to yourself, or the meditation and introspective time that's going to help you to fully understand what it is that you want, and like we talked about, finding your purpose in life. Or when it comes to deciding that you deserve to make more money and you are open to receiving more money and you're open to asking for more money, and we're going to talk about how you can do some of these different things. Or maybe we're talking about in a relationship and there are certain things that you want to receive from your relationship with your partner. Not that they're not doing it good enough, but I think sometimes we're not communicating enough as men and women, and so that's where signals can get crossed, and sometimes that's where the resentment begins, and then we don't receive what we want, and a lot of times we expect that other person to give us those things that we want that we're not giving to ourselves, and that's where just all kinds of crappy stuff starts happening. And so I'm going to give you some different tips on how to get started with each of those and asking for what you want to receive. But the main thing really is opening up your perspective. And so I'll share a couple things from my own experience to hopefully help you a little bit in understanding that, like, when you prioritize your health and you're filling your own cup, like, the money shows up, the right support shows up. You know, when you start to get resourceful and you ask your family for support from a mindset of like, hey, this is what I need. Let me explain to you why. How can we brainstorm together on how we can make this happen? Then it just happens. I know for me personally, one example from my life is that I love having an organized, clean space. And for the longest time, I told myself that I couldn't have a house cleaner. I was like, it's too much money. You know, I could do it in an hour, you know, myself. It's not that big of a deal, but it's so like energetically draining for me that I just decided one day, like, I want to have someone come and clean my place. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. Yes, I could do it myself, but I can use that time to really focus on other things that are more energetically filling to me versus depleting. And so I just hired a house cleaner, and at the time I was like, well, you know, if she comes 2 times a month, it's X amount of dollars. It's not my budget right now, but you know what? It's worth it. And you know what happened? The money showed up. Like, the same thing happened when I went through a divorce, and that was really tough because in the beginning, I was in a position where I was running a startup. I didn't have a consistent income coming in. It's expensive to live in Santa Monica. It's, you know, like, the cost of living is fairly high here. And so that was another area where I had to just go with my heart and know what felt right. And again, the money showed up. You know, I can give you so many examples from my clients with weight loss and really just deciding that when it comes to taking good care of themselves and nourishing their body, a lot of times we're so focused on the weight loss, we're saying like, I need to lose 10 pounds, I need to lose 10 pounds. And when we took a step back and we really looked at their life and they weren't getting enough sleep, they weren't taking time to nourish themselves throughout the day, so then they would end up binging at night because they were so depleted and food was that comfort, and so they would turn to food. They felt resentment towards their spouse, so they were constantly in this negative, stressful space, both when they're working because they're go, and then when they get home, they're like, why aren't you taking care of me? I have to do everything. And so once we started to reorganize their life and start to make sure that they were asking for the support so they could get enough sleep, so that they weren't taking care of all of the household stuff on top of everything that they were doing at work just because they expected themselves to, asking for help and support with their kids, you know, making time to spend quality time with their kids, not quantity time. And there's a difference there where your kids want you to show up as that best version of you, that one that's present and connected and ready to play and laugh and have fun, not the one that's just there because you think you need to be there, and then you're ignoring them because you don't feel good and you're fuzzy in your head and you're sleep deprived and everything else. When you start to see that it's really about designing your life and asking for what you need in order to do that, then everything changes. And a lot of times it starts with giving yourself permission to ask, because we're so afraid to ask for help. We're so afraid that asking someone else means that we're failing, or we think it's not possible for us. And I really encourage you to open your mind and to start thinking like, how can I receive more support? Whether that is in my job or at home or wherever, how can I communicate in a way that's very like from a mindset of brainstorming versus like, you're not doing it good enough for me, I need you to do more, or I need this, like from a judgmental sort of a stance that never works. But if you can say like, hey, I need help, like to show up as the best version of me. I know you, employer, husband, you know, spouse, kids, whoever you're having the conversation with, I know you want the best version of me, right? I need more time for me. I need to get more sleep. I'm exhausted, or I'm just explain how you are feeling. And as you explain that, then open up the discussion to talk about how we can maybe rearrange things so that you have a bit more time to invest in yourself. And then the next step is to really commit to using that time for you. Like, don't allow yourself to get sidetracked or distracted by whatever else is then thrown on your plate. Like, clear the space for you and then plug that into your calendar just like any other VIP appointment. And I promise you, the more that you do this, it's not selfish. It's not. The more that you do this, the more it will allow you to have more clarity, more fun, more laughs, more ideas in your career. Like, you're more creative when you take the time for yourself. And for most people, if you think about it, no matter what your job is, no matter what, your purpose is in life, if you go back to the first video we talked about, in order to show up and fully serve in that way and have the impact on whoever it is that you care about the most, or whatever it is that you care about, you have to invest time in filling your own cup. You have to invest time in self-care, whatever that looks like for you. And so the first thing to really do about that is to ask yourself, like, what are the areas of my life that are the most depleting right now? And it's different for everyone. Like, for me, that was cleaning. For some people, it might be the amount of money that you make right now. So if you feel like, I don't make enough money, I'm barely making ends meet, it's so freaking hard, it's such a stressor for me, then that's the area that you need to focus on. And you need to think about, how can I start to bring in more income? Maybe it's through my current position, or maybe it's through outside income, through residual income. Maybe it's through selling things that are just sitting in my garage. Maybe it's through, some other thing. Like for me and a lot of my clients, one of the ways that I've helped a lot of them to increase their financial income, increase the money that's coming to them on a monthly basis, is through the nutrition line that I use. They use the nutrition, they share it with friends. We have an amazing referral program. And so as they share it with friends, they end up making money either to get their products and food paid for, or to, even more than that, pay for a car payment, pay for part of their mortgage, or whatever it is that's important to you. Just start to think about, like, we live in a world right now, this is the emerging economy. I think that's what it's called, where the world is changing. How people make money is changing. It's no longer about working at a job for 40 years and just getting your incremental pay increases and that's how you make money. There are so many more options out there. And whether it's working with me and using the nutrition line that I use, or you have some other sort of residual income that you can receive, or something else that you're passionate about, look at those things as an opportunity. Like, what if you were to use that thing that you already would use and then refer it to other people and make money from it? Like, it's kind of a no-brainer. And also, like when I said about clearing out the garage, the other thing is that people used to save, like back years ago, 10 years ago, it was all about like saving stuff and like having a lot of things. And maybe you're coming to the point now where you're realizing, like, I don't need all of this stuff. So maybe downsizing or getting rid of some of the things that you haven't used in a year or 2 years is part of how you can create some additional revenue or income in your life. Those are just a couple ideas when it comes to finances, because that is such a big stressor. But just brainstorm. If you guys have anything that's coming to mind right now, or any ahas, definitely leave in the comments. I know we have some people on, and I would love to hear your thoughts or things that you're doing right now to help, whatever it is. If it's finances for you, if it's health for you, how are you filling your cup or doing the self-care that you need that allows you to show up as that best version of yourself. I think, having you guys engage in the conversation is a big part of what makes this fun. So I want to hear from you too. Another area that I wanted to cover was weight loss. Weight loss, whatever. I was talking to a guy the other day about this, and he goes, he's like, I pretty much think that most people want to lose weight, but they don't want to say it. They want it, but then they try these really restrictive things or deprivation-based things that suck, and then they hate that. But then they really want to like look and feel their best and feel confident. But it's like this whole weird mindset that we get in around our body and weight loss and all of these things. So whether you call it weight loss or health, nourishing your body, like that, to me, it's really about showing up as the best physical version of yourself, right? That's what we all want. We all want our outside to reflect who we are on the inside. We all want to feel confident about the way that we look. And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, you really have to decide that if this is a priority for you, if this is a 10 out of 10 in importance, then you're willing to do what it takes to get there. And in order to be willing to do what it takes to get there, you need to then like prioritize and decide what you need to do and change about your life right now in order to get different results. Like this is the funniest thing to me. Is it's not funny at all, but this is the ironic thing, and this is like the mindset shift that needs to happen for you if you want different results. Is like you can't be like eating 1 to 2 meals a day and then not taking care of yourself and not working out and not doing these things, and then decide that you want to work with a coach or decide that you want to lose weight, but then not be willing to invest the time, and the resources towards changing your eating habits, plugging in more movement and more the type of workouts that support your goals, like making more time to sleep, because sleep is such an important factor in the process. And I say that again, that's the Feisty Sheila coaching, Sheila. But I say that to inspire you to know, like, if this really is important to me and I am saying I want this, then I have to be willing to show up and do the work that's going to produce the results. And it's not about working hard. It's just about deciding that if this is important, then you have to treat it like it's important. I talk about prioritizing your priorities. If this is a priority, you have to treat it like it is, right? And you can't make excuses to yourself. And we talked about old stories, but old stories in the sense of saying like, I'm so busy and I have all these things I have to do and everyone's pulling me in different directions. I totally get that, and I honor that, and I understand how hard it is for some people that have a lot of different responsibilities, especially when you're a single parent or if you're working full time and raising your family, all these different things. I totally get it, and I also want to lovingly support you in deciding that even though all of those things are happening, you still have options. And you just have to get resourceful, and you have to be willing to ask for help, and you have to be willing to pull out your calendar, look at the 24 hours, 7 days a week that you have, and decide where you are going to plug in your time for you to get to these goals, and to prioritize that time and treat it as a VIP appointment, because you know that as you do this, when it comes to your health and your physical body, which is the most important thing, without this body, you would not be alive. Like, this is the vessel that allows you to go do those things that are important to you in life. Then you have to make a conscious decision that this is going to be one of your top priorities, and that you're going to have to ask for help, whether that's your family, your employer, whatever it is. If they want the best version of you, they're going to support you in that. And having a brainstorming discussion around it is the best way to do that. Asking for support from those types of people. And then the other thing is too, and I kind of had touched on this, is like, obviously this is the work that I do in the world. I'm a health and transformation coach. I help people transform their lives. And this whole Rock Your Dream Body and Dream Life community that I have is so much more than just me and a group of passionate people that is like this big. I feel like I truly believe that this is a movement. This is more than just me. This is a movement about people deciding that they truly are capable and able and wanting and ready to rock their dream lives. And our health is typically the first area that bring people to me in terms of this. Like, that's what attracts them to me. But in every case, we end up talking about every other aspect of life as well, because it's all connected. And you want your dream body so that you can go out and do those things that are important to you as your most confident self, right? Like, that's why you want to be fit and lean and healthy and feeling your best and have energy, because you want to be able to focus your attention on those things that matter to you, whether that's your kids or travel or your job or whatever. You want to be clear-minded and feeling amazing so that you can go and do that stuff. And so I really do see this as a movement, and that's why I'm doing this series. Like, obviously this is just me sitting down and taking some time out of my day to share my passion with you guys, and I want to help inspire you to see that this is just as much about you as it is about me. This is not just me like getting on my soapbox and like shouting with my microphone because I like hearing my voice. I want you to know that this is possible for you. And I want you to take your power and empower yourself to share this message with other people too, and to create your own community within this community. And let's all do this together, because we are all in this together. And the more of us that, I had a phone call yesterday with a girl who is also doing like a body love type movement, and she's doing a summit, and I'm going to participate and be one of her interviewees. And I said to her, I was like, I don't see anything as competition. I see this, like I said, as a movement, or like a bunch of people that are standing shoulder to shoulder sharing this message of like, you can have it all, and you can love your body, and you can love your life right now and want more. And it's absolutely amazing to want more and to believe that you can have everything that you want in your life by your terms. And I believe that's possible. I know that's possible because I've seen it happen for myself. I've seen it with many of my clients, and I know that you can have that too, but you have to believe. And the more of us that are standing up here saying it's possible, the more that people will believe it's possible, because then there are all these references. And I think, each of us having our own way of saying it is amazing, because each person is going to be attracted to the person who's the right fit for them, to guide them. And so all of this to share, to say, like, if you need a community, if you need support, if you need a coach, if you need someone to hold your hand that's already been there, done that, and can guide you through, then get that support. Invest in it. Do what you need to do to commit. Like, this matters. This matters to you. It matters to your family and everything else. And the more that you invest the time and energy and even the money, like, I tell my clients, it's not cheap to work with me one-on-one on purpose, because I want them to have that skin in the game. I want them to invest at a level that's going to make them committed to show up, because they're like, all right, I'm going to get my money's worth out of this. And that's the value that I bring to the table as well. That's why coaching is important, because if you're struggling and if you feel like, I keep cycling in the same thing, I keep saying yes and then falling back, and then saying yes and then falling back, the truth is that you need to do something different. And sometimes that means paying for someone to be there by your side to show you the way. And sometimes, you need to do that at a level that's going to make you wake up and really pay attention. That's every time I've ever invested in a coach, that's why I did it, because number one, I resonated with the person, and number two, I knew that they had already created what it is that I wanted to create for my life, and that if I did what they told me, and not necessarily I'm just going to become like them and just become their mirror image, but they're going to show me the way to design the right fit for me in my life, my preferences, and everything that I want to create for myself. And they are pretty much an example of what that looks like already, but of course it's always going to be individualized to me. They're going to be the one to show me the way. And that's why it's so important to invest in yourself in that way. And the results are just tenfold every single time when you invest in yourself. And this goes back full circle, asking for support in whatever way that is. When you show up for yourself and you give yourself permission to receive, when you give yourself that permission to ask for what you need, and again, whether that's from your family, whether that's plugging it into your calendar, whether that's asking for more money in whatever way that is, instead of making an excuse as to why you can't have these things and you can't do that thing, and you hear yourself telling the same excuses, this is kind of the next level of what we talked about yesterday, your old stories. These are your normal excuses, I don't get enough sleep, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. What can you do instead to create that for yourself? What if you decided that that was no longer going to be your excuse, and you were going to give yourself permission to ask for what you needed? Imagine how your life will change, right? It's so amazing what happens when we take off this restrictive layer of excuses and just all that stuff that we just cycle in every day and be or I have to live here because I've always lived here. What if you want to move? What if you gave yourself permission to move? What could your life look like if you really allowed yourself to visualize what it would look like to have it all by your definition of what that means? The world is there for you. There are so many different options, and it's like a buffet, and we all get to choose, and we are not limited at all. At all. We are limited by our own beliefs. We are limited by our own excuses, and that's it. That is the only thing that limits you. Like, you limit you. Not that core, amazing, badass version of you. That's just covered up. The part that's limiting you is this like shell that you've become because that's who you think you're supposed to be in life. And so I'll end it there for today. I know that we talked about a lot. You guys weren't very engaged, but if you listen to the recording, leave me a comment and let me know. I want to hear from you. I swear, this is why I'm doing this, is because I want to have a conversation with you. And also let me know if a different time. So I'm doing these at like 9 a.m. Tomorrow I'm doing it at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. So mark that on your calendar. Plug it into your calendar and put a little notification, because this is important, right? Like, if you love this stuff, like, be on live and let's have a conversation about it, and don't be shy, because if you are feeling this way, I guarantee there's someone else, more than just one person, that are, thanks for the love, Mom. I love that you're on here all the time. Dana says, too focused on your message. Okay, good. You taking notes? Taking notes, girl? Good. That's what I like to hear. So anyways, so yes, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, be on live. If you like this, please like it. Please share it with someone that you know needs to hear this message, because I swear, like, this is the message that I am so passionate about, because I know how many people are suffering from these excuses and limiting beliefs. And the more that we open ourselves up to receive what we want, the more our world will be a better place. Like, if we all allowed ourselves to have what we wanted and to be that shining example of what's possible, like, imagine how amazing this world would be. And also, if you want to take it further, I just wanted to let you guys know, I mentioned this yesterday in the Facebook Live as well, that I have some private one-on-one coaching client spots opening up in my schedule soon. So if you would like to apply for one of those spots, please go to sheilaveers.com/coaching, and you can apply there. And basically it's just a quick questionnaire that will be super helpful for you, because it's going to help you to get really clear on what you want and what you need. And then we'll schedule a 20-minute discovery call where we'll talk about your current challenges and your goals, and then how I can help. So have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.